Hey you, and welcome to lesson 12. In today's lesson, we will talk about using polite requests and offers, how to use some and how to use any, and what are the differences between them. We will learn about restaurant phrases and vocabularies, when you go and order food. And we will also we will take a quiz at the end, which you must not skip. So let's get to it. We will start with, would you mind? Would you mind is a little bit tricky, okay? Would you mind is used for, request, okay, to request something. When we talk about the present or the past, we use the past tense following the subject, okay? Would you mind if I used your phone? Would you mind if I borrowed your car tonight? We always used would, because would is the past form of the modal will, so the verb is also in the past used. Okay, this is not to say that the request is made in the past. It's just to say, it's just to sound more polite, okay? Just to sound more polite. So, first usage, if somebody did something, okay? Would you mind if I used your phone? Would you mind if I borrowed your car? Pay attention. Okay, if you say, would you mind if I, the answer, if it's positive, if you say yes, I do, or yes, I mind, that means no. That means I don't want you to do this. For example, if I say, would you mind if I borrowed your car? And I say, yes, I mind. It means no, don't borrow my car. Leave my car alone. Okay? But if you say, no, I don't mind, that means I'm fine with you borrowing my car. So it's the opposite. That's why it's a little bit tricky, Would you mind if I open the window? Would you mind if I open the window? If I say, yes, I mind, it means don't open the window. If I say, no, I don't mind, or go ahead, that means I don't mind. That means you can open the window. It's okay. Okay? Now, second usage of would you mind is when we don't mention the subject. Okay? So the first usage, we mentioned the subject. Would you mind if I borrowed your car? I being the subject. Here, we are using it without the subject. Would you mind taking this book back for me? Would you mind taking this book back for me? We use it with the ing form of the verb. Okay? Would you mind sending that email for me? Would you mind going to the library for me? Would you mind talking to him? Would you mind helping me? Would you mind driving me to the airport? Okay, so here we use the word would you mind without a subject, but the verb has to be in ing form. If we use the subject, then the verb will be in the past form, and we will use if. So would you mind if I played on your tablet? Or would you mind playing the game for me? Okay. So the third use of would you mind is if we use somebody plus the verb plus ing. Somebody's plus the verb plus ing. Like, would you mind John's staying here with us? Would you mind John's staying here with us? Or would you mind my sister's coming with us to the picnic? Okay? When responding to would you mind, if you don't mind, if you're fine with whatever is being asked of you, you say, no, not at all. Not at all. Like, let your sister come on over. I have no problem with it. Okay, or you can say, of course not. Of course not. Or you can say, no, go on, please. If I say, for example, would you mind John staying here with us? You say, no, bring John over. I'm fine. Okay, that is all positive response. So no, not at all, of course not. This is all saying yes. You are fine with what's being asked of you. But if you say yes, that means no. That means I don't want you to do what you're asking me. So if I say yes, I would. If somebody asks you, would you mind my sister's coming with us to the picnic? And you say, yes, I would. It means no. Leave your sister at home. Don't bring your sister to the picnic. Okay? Now, one more thing to keep in mind. Would you mind is a polite request. Okay? Would you mind is a polite request. Do you mind is not as nice. Okay? It's a little bit harsh. It implies that somebody is bothering you, or you are being bothered by something or someone. For example, if I say, do you mind, like for example, do you mind I'm talking on the phone? If somebody's being loud, or if somebody's playing the music loud, and you are talking on the phone. So you say, do you mind I'm talking on the phone? Okay, it's a bit harsh. And it indicates that you are bothered or you are not happy with what's going on, okay? Or for example, if somebody is smoking and you have a child with you, you said, do you mind? There are children here, you know? So it sounds, it's a bit harsh, is not as nice. It's not used to offer someone, but it's used to show someone that you're not happy with what's going on, okay? Do you mind? Let's take a look at this chart right here. And polite request. Would you mind? Would you please give me the file on the table? Yes, of course. If the answer is yes. If the answer is no, well, I'm afraid I can't. I'm busy. Okay. Or could you join us at a party on this Sunday? Could you join us at a party on this Sunday? Yes, I am happy to join. Or if the answer is no, I'm sorry, I'm busy this Sunday. Would you like to join us at a party on Sunday? Yes, certainly. If the answer is yes. Or I'd like to, but I can't, or I have a meeting, or any excuse that you want to give. Okay? Now let's take a look at countable and uncountable. Countable nouns, they are things that you can count. They have a singular form and they have a plural form. Things that are countable. Uncountable nouns, things you cannot count, and they don't have a singular form or a plural form. They just have one form, and that is the uncountable form. Let's take a look at some of the countable and some of the countable and uncountable things that we come across always. We have countable. We have books, friends, teachers, tables, chairs. Anything that has a plural form is countable. So you notice all those ends with an S. That means they are all countable. And they all have a singular form. Books is book. Friend is friend. Teacher is teacher. Tables, table. So uncountable. They have no singular form or plural form. They just have their uncountable form, and they cannot be counted. Money, meat, juice, milk. Those are all uncountable. Yeah, you will say, oh, you can count money. No, you don't count money. You count currency, but you don't count money. Like, for example, you don't say, I have 2 money or I have 6 money. No, you say, I have $2 or I have $5. Dollars is countable because it's a currency of money, but money is uncountable because you don't count it. Money is money. Now, meat, same thing, okay? You can count, you can quantify the meat by counting how many kilos, but you don't say, I eat 3 meat, okay? It doesn't work like that. But you can say, I ate or I bought like 2 kilos or 2 pounds of beef. Now you quantified it and you are using pounds, and that can be used as plural or singular because a pound is countable, but not the meat. The meat is not countable. Same thing with all liquids, milk, juice, water, all liquids are uncountable. Also, things with very, very small particles like rice or flour, this is uncountable. You just say, I bought rice or I bought some rice. You don't say, I bought 3 rice or I bought 5 flour. Now let's take a look at some and any. We use some with positive sentences while we use any with negatives and questions, okay? But some has also some other uses. Some is generally used in positive, any is used in negatives and questions, okay? Like, I have some information for you. This is a positive, uncountable nouns. Some is used with the uncountable nouns or plural nouns. I have some information for you. Positive, uncountable. I don't have any information for you. Negative, uncountable. So any, here we use it with negative and uncountable, while we use some with positive, uncountable. Okay? We use some and any with plurals, uncountables, with plurals or uncountables. We don't use it with singles. Okay? Now, we met some friends. Positive, countable. Countable but plural. Okay? Plural countable. I didn't see any friends. Plural countable, negative, because we have didn't. I think he will have some time. I think he will have some time is positive, and it's uncountable because time is uncountable. You know, you don't say I have 3 time or I have 4 time. Again, time is used with a quantifier, which is hours or minutes. Those can be counted. Those can be countables, but time is uncountable. I don't think he will have any time. Negative, uncountable. All right. Now, we can use some and any in sentences without noun. What does that mean? That means if the noun is clear, we know what we're talking about, we don't need to use the noun. In this case, I didn't eat any salad, but Peter ate some. It's clear that we're talking about salad. We don't need to say salad again. So I didn't eat any salad, but Peter ate some. I didn't have any water, but Jane had some. We don't need to repeat the noun because it's obvious. Chin took lots of photos of the mountains, but Emma didn't take any. Okay? Chin took lots of photos of the mountains, but Emma didn't take any. It's obvious that we're talking about the mountain, so we don't need to say the mountain again. We don't say she took a lot of pictures of the mountains and I didn't take any pictures of the mountain. We don't need to make the sentence longer. It just sounds boring, so we just skip the noun at the end. Now, questions with some and any. Generally, we use any for questions and negatives, right? So, do you have any famous? Do you know any famous people? Any and some, as just a reminder, they are used with plurals, countable, or they're used with uncountable. Okay. If I say, do you know any famous people? Any, because it's a question. Do you have any children? Again, this is plural countable. This is plural countable. What is a single form of people? Person. That's right. Some can also be used in questions in some situations. Okay, when do we use some in questions? Number one, we use it when we're offering something. Would you like some water? Would you like some juice? Would you like some coffee? Okay, so some could be used as questions in certain cases. 3 cases to be particular, to be specific. The first case is when we are making offers. Second case is when we're asking for something. Okay, like, could I have some salt, please? Or can I have some fries with that? Or could you pass the pepper? When you are asking for something. So we say it for number 1, when we are offering, number 2, when we are requesting or we're asking for something. And number 3 is when we are suggesting something. So we use some when we're suggesting something, like, why don't we watch some movies tonight? Or why don't you give her some advice? Okay, so generally, any is used for questions in negative, some is used for positive statements, but some can be used in 3 cases in question form, and that is when we are offering something, and when we are requesting something, or when we are giving suggestions. Okay, now exercise, let's put any or some in the right place. He has some books or any books. Right, he has some books. This is a positive statement. So correct answer here is some. There are flowers here. There are some flowers here. Again, this is a positive statement. He hasn't got friends. Yeah, it is any. Why? Because it's a negative statement. Hasn't. Okay, now let's talk about some restaurant vocabularies. We go to restaurants, and it's good to know some vocabularies and some phrases that we can use at restaurants when ordering food or when wanting to, thank the waiter. Whatever phrases that are needed at restaurants, we will take today. So let's begin. First thing is menu. A menu is, the list of things that you have on the, it's the list of the food and drinks with their prices that you can order in a restaurant or a cafe. It's called a menu. A chef is a person who cooks the food, or he makes the food, not a cooker. Again, remember we took in the past lesson, we said a cooker is what you use to cook on, okay, like a cooking hub with burners. That's a cooker. But a person who cooks is a chef. Dish. A dish is food that is cooked or prepared in a special way. A dish. A bill is the piece of paper with all the food and the drinks that you ordered and the price that you have to pay. Order is to ask for food or drink. Like, can I order? Or when the waiter comes, he says or she says, can I take your order? It means, to ask for food or drink. A tip. What is a tip? A tip is it's a gratuity, extra money you pay to the waiter or the waitress for their service. If they were really nice to you, very helpful, you pay a tip. This is customary. People normally leave a tip to the waiter or the waitress. A waiter or a waitress is the person who brings you the food and the drinks, and they smile to you and they're really nice. So give them a tip. Take away, to go. Take away is British, to go is American. That means when you buy food from a cafe or a restaurant and take it with you and eat it somewhere else. That is called take away in British, or to go in American. So you said, can I, we ordered some Chinese takeout, or you can say, we ordered some Chinese takeaway, or you can say, can I have this to go? It means I'll take it with me. Dine in, eat in, is the opposite of take away, when you eat the food inside the restaurants. Okay, example, during COVID-19, it wasn't allowed to dine in restaurants. You could only order takeouts. That takes us to the next word, which is takeouts. Takeouts, or takeout, is the food sold by a restaurant or a shop to be eaten somewhere else. Okay, they sell you the food, but you can't eat it. You have to take it with you. Let's take a look at some key vocabularies and phrases that you use in a restaurant. First one is, here you are. Oh, no, sorry. First one is, could I have the menu, please? When you first go to the restaurant, you ask the waiter or the waitress politely, could I have the menu, please? Could I have the menu, please? Normally, when the waiter or the waitress bring the menu, they will say, here you are, or here you go, here you go. It means the same thing. It means just, it's a polite way of giving someone something. Enjoy your meal, enjoy your meal. Another phrase used by the waiter or by your friends if they know you're going to a restaurant. It's a nice thing to say to someone is going to eat or about to eat. Enjoy your meal. Can I get you anything else? Can I get you anything else? At a restaurant, after you order, the waiter will normally ask, can I get you anything else? It means, would you like to add to your order? I'd like the check, please. I'd like the check, please. When you are done eating, this is how you request the bill. You say, I'd like the check, please, so you can pay. That'll be, this is said by the cashier. If you are at a cafe and you order takeouts, or at Starbucks and you order coffee, the cashier will say, that'll be, and then they will name the price. Like, for example, that will be $12.50, or that will be $8.99. Have a good day. Have a good day. This could be used by both. You can tell, the host, have a good day. When you leave, they can tell you the same thing. This is, to replace goodbye. The spaghetti, the steak, the chicken looks good. To complement the menu, or when you are trying to decide, you say the spaghetti looks good, or the chicken looks good. So you might order it. How is the pizza? How is the fish? How is the rice? You are inquiring about a food in a restaurant. You're asking the waiter, how is the fish? How is the pizza? How is the rice? What would you recommend? This question you ask the waiter if you're not sure what to order and you want them to give you their recommendation. Like, what is the most popular food in this restaurant? Or what do most people order? That's why you will ask. What would you recommend? I'd like my steak rare, or I'd like my steak medium, or I'd like my steak well done. These are just how would you like your steak cooked? They will normally ask you how you would like your steak cooked. If you want it rare, it means it's not cooked very well. If it's medium, it's cooked 50%. If it's well done, it's cooked above 50%. Are there any nuts, peanuts? My child has allergies. Allergies, it means the food you cannot intake because you have a medical reaction to it. So you ask, are there any, for example, if you're allergic to peanuts, you said, are there any peanuts? Because, I'm allergic to it, or my child is allergic to it. So it's good to know how to ask if you have any allergies. Do you have any vegetarian dishes? If you don't eat meat, you ask this question. Could I have a glass of water, please? Request. Could you tell me where the restroom is? Restroom is the place where you go to the bathroom, toilet. I'd recommend the lasagna, or I'd recommend the steak, or I recommend the pizza. This is normally told by the waiter. Would you care for an appetizer, or would you care for a drink? Would you care for dessert? This is again by the waiter. Appetizer is what you have before your meal. A drink or a dessert. Dessert is something sweet you have after your meal. I'd like to have a cup of tea. I'd like to have a steak, or I'd like to have some coffee. Okay, so you must remember from today's lesson is how to make polite requests. Use some and any, and the use of would you mind. And keep in mind that would you mind, if you say yes means no, and if you say no means yes. All right, so there will be a quiz today. Don't skip it, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Have a good one.